That's on. Voice memo's on. All right. Ah, welcome to 2026 and welcome to the sage and the song. This is Britta GreenViolet here as your guide and your co-pilot, along with the incredible soul I see in front of me over the internet's Verana Faye Bailowitz. And I was just sharing with Verana that this is my first time ever having a guest on my pod, and that I've been really getting the inspiration to collaborate and to co create in this way, in this platform, in this channel that has been so fun for me over the last few years. And it feels so fitting to be co creating with you. Welcome, Verana.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful, excited, honored to be here today.
Me too.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about you and your incredible work in the world.
Mm. Yeah, so I live on Coast Miwok land in the Bay Area, California. I'm in Marin County in a little town called Lagunitas, with the creeks and the redwoods and the oak and the madrone and the salmon and all the incredible beings that live here. I work as a full spectrum doula. My main focus at this time is birth doula support. I've been doing this work for over 10 years. The births keep coming. I have attended several in the past couple of weeks, in fact. It's been a pretty powerful beginning of this year, indeed. And I also do childbirth education. Last year, I trained in something called birth story medicine listening. So I also offer sessions for people who are integrating their birth journey, not their own birth, but the births of their children or their child, and anything that feels unresolved or wants to be integrated there. And I'm also an astrologer. I am an archetypal astrologer. I do counseling astrology. I offer readings for individuals. I read for couples, whole family systems, and I read for newborns. One of my favorite things to do is to read for the little ones that come in and to offer support for the whole family to understand these powerful beings that are coming in better and how to best support them to thrive. So that is a little snippet into me. I'm also a singer and a dancer and a dreamer and a poet and a liver
And a
of life
puppeteer.
and a puppeteer in the making. Yes, indeed.
Can you give a snippet of your puppet astrology? Because
Sure,
it's
yes.
next level, really.
I have a dream of teaching astrology with puppets and using puppets as a way for people to really understand the planets. It can be quite challenging for a lot of people to grok the planets and their archetypal energies and symbology. And for some reason, people understand puppets. They get that interaction, they get the play, and from what I've seen, it can really help people embody the astrology and learn fast and in a playful way, which is one of the best ways to learn is through play and magic and imagination. And so this is a dream that I have is to teach astrology with puppets. And at this moment, I'm actually looking for a puppeteer. So if you out there are that, please
You mean a
do reach
puppet
out.
maker?
I'm sorry, a puppet maker.
A puppet maker.
A puppet
Okay,
maker.
so hey, heads up, y'all. If you know any exquisite crafters who love
Yeah.
making, crafting puppets, there is
And
a
I
call.
have I have puppets already, but they are store bought, and so I'm looking for the original, unique, um, handmade puppets. So
I cannot
thanks.
wait. I
I
cannot wait.
know.
And I love it, and I really can't wait because I feel like I am one of those people. I
Yeah.
I know I've said to you that astrology clearly I'm a student. I understand things.
Totally.
I feel like I'm pretty good at capturing information, but astrology is, for whatever reason, a whole lot of it doesn't really stay retained in my brain. And so hearing you describe this, I feel like that is for me. The puppet astrology is for me because I'm into the archetypes and storytelling.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's how it will stick with me.
You are not alone. A lot of
Hmm.
people have this experience. And so, yeah, it is definitely a dream of mine to bring astrology to earth, into the body, into story, so that more people can understand and fall in love with this system.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, that feels like a beautiful weaving and transitioning into why we're here today, which is to talk about 2026, the
Mhm.
year, the calendar year of 2026. We are in it now. We're recording this on January 25th. And I want to say, first and foremost, that I love us for recording a podcast on the energetics, the archetypes and anthems and astrology, which is the official name of this pod ep, on January 25th, because there's so much pressure from society, from the overculture, to hit the ground running on January 1
Mhm.
and to come blazing into the new year with, ambition and like all engines firing. And it's here in the northern hemisphere, it's winter and we be wintering. So I love that the part of me, like the hustler part of me, the overachiever part of me, the Enneagram 3 part of me was like, let's record this as soon as possible, and then Verana got sick, and then I got sick, and then you had a birth. And so today is the day that we're here recording it, and I feel like it was perfect divine timing.
I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and we're also lining up with the Chinese New Year, which has not yet happened, and
That's right.
just being in the deep, dark, still kind of underground realms. And there's so much about the astrology of this moment and all the other systems that point to this moment that tell us that it's a cocoony time still. There's still a lot that's being formed. And so I agree, it's the right time to record this.
Yes, indeed. So, archetypes, anthems, and astrology for 2026. That is what is on the table today.
Mhm.
And we're really excited to share some card pulls, some tarot, some astrological celestial movements, and to weave that and integrate that with song, because that's what I love doing on this show. That's really what you and I both love doing in life. And most of the song carriers, like the modern day song carriers that I know, that is actually how we see it. We see songs as prescriptions,
Uh-huh.
as reminders, as these sonic tattoos for this is what I need to remember at this moment in my life. How am I going to remember this? Well, I'm going to sing about it. And I love that so much. I actually was talking to a friend who has become Ben and I's cat sitter,
Mm.
who is an incredible human being, and they were telling me that their vision board is actually writing songs. So they were calling in a romantic partner and
Mm.
wrote this whole song, and I was like, will you share it with me? And they sang it for me, and it was so beautiful. And it was another facet of this idea of
Mm.
song as vision board, song as
Yeah.
prescription, song as the medicine that we need to help us remember who we are, to help us step fully courageously into our true alchemical life's work.
Oh, I love that so much. Yeah, like song as spell. And And I love the name for this episode as Anthems. And to me, an
Hmm.
anthem is like a song that is a pillar, like a song that comes back and comes back and comes back, and that we return to as a reminder of what it is to be ensouled, which is a word that I've just been really feeling lately. So I love that we have song as the anthem here today.
Mm. Will you start for us by sharing the three card pull that you did?
Absolutely. So last night I was feeling into this year, this conversation, and from the Archetypes deck that Britta, you actually got me into. Thank you so much. I did a three-card spread and I pulled three cards. The first card I pulled for where are we? Like who are we as we come into this year? And the second card I pulled for what is the medicine of the year? What is what are we going to be chewing on? What is going to be guiding us throughout this year? And then the third card I pulled for who are we becoming? Who are we becoming? Who will we be on the other side of this year? So, the card that I pulled for who are we now as we enter this year is I pulled the Maiden, which I thought was very interesting. I actually kind of struggled with it at first, the Maiden. The Maiden is this card that really has to do with innocence and coming in with this like kind of pure, unknown, like, wow, what is this? There's a sensuality, there's an eroticism to the Maiden, and there's also this feeling of like, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't know what is happening. So there's an innocence, but there's also an ignorance. And I think we are all feeling a little bit underwater in a lot of ways around how to respond to this moment. What do we do? How are we? How do we mature? And so the maiden is this immature, it has this immaturity and also this innocence. And it's important to be with the innocence, I really feel. The purity of the innocence, the staying open and asking questions. And also, we are wanting to mature. We need to mature.
Mm.
So for the center card,
Can
what
I
is,
just say that
yeah,
there's something too that, yeah, I love that the innocence of the maiden is I did a I Ching throw this fall, and the card that I got was all about innocence. Like that was the archetype, and one of the things that it said about innocence was it is all about this present moment. When you think about children, that light aspect of the innocence is about the ability to be utterly present, not
mm,
looking back, not
uh-huh,
looking forward, not looking sideways. And it was
yeah,
all about like looking back can turn into ruminating on our past, looping the
yeah,
past stories. The looking forward can turn into living in a fantasy,
yep,
projecting into this place that isn't even here yet. And then the looking to the side is comparing ourselves, constant comparison rather than this utter presence.
yep,
And I
wow,
love that aspect. And then the other thing that I thought about the maiden is sort of a facet of that archetype, which is the princess. And I think even of course, all archetypes, right, there is a light and a shadow aspect. And so I feel that along with that beautiful innocence,
mhm,
there is this shadow that arises for me hearing that of like, who's coming to save me?
totally,
Who is coming to save us
yeah,
from this mess
yeah,
that we have created?
oh, totally,
And like the reality call
the
of
reality call.
when the maiden becomes the mother, when the maiden
Mm,
matures like
mm,
into that
mm,
adult phase, it is, oh, I get to take care of myself. I have sovereignty, I have agency,
mm,
I have responsibility. And I get that, and I choose that.
And we are the ones that are going to save us. It's
That's
not
right.
going to be the systems, it's not going to be the leaders, the political leaders. I mean, there are some
Mm,
political leader
mm,
heroes coming on in, but it's us. Like we are the ones, and to stop looking outside of ourselves for that savior
mm-hmm.
archetype
Oh,
is
and I know you have a song in your pocket that's about that, but we're to be continued. We'll
to be
stick a pin
continued.
in there.
Yeah, so the middle card, the card of what is our medicine? What are we learning this year? What are we really walking with? I pulled the one, the one. And the one is let me just go to this page. The one, when I look at the one, I there's this picture of this kind of like fuzzy egg in space, and it's the unity, it's this energy of unity, and the one serves love, the one serves love, and it is this recognition again and again of our interconnectedness, our interdependence. And with this card, and in general, I've been really feeling Gene Key 2, which is the city of unity and the shadows of dislocation, and through the gift of I believe orientation,
Mm-hmm.
to orient ourselves and then to find that unity. And I see this with, this moment of so much chaos, of this dislocation, and where do we belong and what is home, and coming into the one that we are all connected here. I'm curious what comes up for you.
May it be so.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, that feels like the remembrance, right? That is the ultimate
Yeah.
teaching of love, really. That
Yes.
as long as there is this division mindset, which is understandable as a dual being in a human body,
Hmm.
and yet I'm thinking of the Diamond Sutra as taught by Thich Nhat Hanh, and how it speaks about these notions that we need to throw away. Like we need to cast these notions away if we actually want to. This was in the context of this book, was actually Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet, is where I read about the Diamond Sutra. And this book was by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's an amazing read, by the way.
Love that.
Right? So this whole concept is like, how are we going to quote unquote save the planet? Which, that feels like a whole other topic on
Mhm.
many levels. But at the root of it is, in order to do better by each other and by the earth, at the very, very core of it is that we are, as he says, interbeings. We
Mhm.
aren't beings, we are interbeings. Everything, humans are made of non human elements, and non humans are made of human elements. So there is this interchange, this interbeingness that is the ultimate foundation,
Mm.
right, of everything that we stand upon, and really the bedrock of loving one another, of doing right by one another, of being in service to a world that feels like
Mm.
it's worth saving. A quote, I use
Yep.
quotes around saving, right?
Yeah.
I have some feelings about that, but
Yeah, for sure.
right, I feel like that's really what it's all about, is recognizing that there is no, in the truest essence of the heart of truth, there is no, that's their problem,
Right.
that's not my problem. That is one of the things that the Diamond Sutra says. that will always keep us
Uh-huh.
stuck, that will always keep us limited as long as we say, oh, that's their problem, that's not my problem.
Right.
And right, again, that feels like such a tender ground because then the task isn't to take everything on my shoulders as if it's all my responsibility. And it is this invitation that there is no human suffering that isn't part of me, that isn't
Mhm.
something that I can deeply empathize with, and something that is worth feeling. And by feeling it, I actually stand a chance at doing something
Yeah.
to improve it, to support, to help.
Yes. Yes. Totally. Yeah, and that feeling, the willingness to feel, the willingness to feel is what brings us into that remembrance. And I love that you use that word remember. I feel like the one that is our journey this year is remembering. It's remembering, and as we'll talk about soon, it's acting. It's like putting that remembrance into action. And that leads to the third card, which this card of who are we becoming and who are we going to be on the other side of this? And I pulled the creator. The creator, which is just a beautiful card. It has, all the colors coming off of the center, and in the center there's a hand with a paintbrush or pen, or it's creating as it goes. And that is really what we are being asked for, and I really feel the astrology aligning with this as well, that we are being asked to become creators of vision, of our new reality that we are being asked to dream into. And so much of the astrology this year is also around what we are dreaming and how we are making real these dreams. And so I love that that card is follows the one and is, the one reminds us into the creation and the creators and creatrixes and the beings of creation that we all are, and that this earth deeply, deeply needs at this time of remembering and rebuilding.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I was just talking to somebody in the last few days about how totally clear I feel that we have all of the solutions that we need now, currently. We actually have the genius,
Yep.
the mastery,
Yes.
the innovation,
Yeah.
the technology. Like, we have the information to really take care of all of the problems,
Yep.
right? I mean, that is the sort of sad and bewildering truth, is that we have all of the information, we have all of the creativity.
Yes.
I mean, the how much creative potential we have as humans is beyond comprehension. And it's one of those things that like makes my heart soar and also makes me feel like tap into the well of despair, that how is it possible that we are so brilliant, we have such incredible potential, and yes, we've created all of these problems, but we also have created all of the solutions, and we are in our own way.
Yep.
Whew.
Which is so personal too and so collective.
Yeah.
And I think a lot, if we really tend to that, the personal ways that we are in our own way, and then we work with the collective as well. And it's true, there is so much grief in seeing, knowing what could be possible and seeing in a lot of ways the opposite.
Yeah.
And I think this year is really one of extraordinary alchemical potential. And I'm very curious. I'm very curious about this year. I'm very excited for this year.
I love that too as an invitation for me and for you and for all of those who will get to hear this conversation
Hmm.
to really take that in as a query of how am I bringing forth my creator this year in these times of tumult, in these times of mystery and this great turning, right? As Joanna Macy says, like how is my creativity being like how am I fanning the flame of my creativity, right?
Hmm.
Because that is the solution. It really is a solution not only to like co-creating with one another, but I think it's also such a powerful way to move through those moments of depression or numbness or despair or gosh, even it like indifference or like what can I do? This is I hopelessness, right?
Yeah. Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Ah, so good. Thank you for that
Yeah.
pull. Wow,
Yeah.
that's so juicy. There's this tiny little ditty that I would love to sing
Bring it.
that came through for me years ago, and it's I think of it as like a in my head it has like a doo-wop or like a 50s or 60s vibe to it, which I don't know comes through the way that I sing it. And maybe someday I'll be able to like figure out what the music production behind it looks like. But it's really simple, and I think it could be a really sweet little anthem to start us off.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, ooh, 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 I forgot again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, but I know that I can. Ooh, remember me again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, and I know that I can. Ooh, remember me again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, and I know that I can. Ooh, remember me again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, and I know that I can. Ooh, remember me again. Ooh, 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 I forgot again. Ooh, I forgot again. Ooh, and I know that I can. Ooh, remember me again.
Woo!
Do you hear the little
Yes,
like doo-wop behind? Like
totally. Yes. I feel like I like have like a skirt on and I'm like it's like a It's so good. I was snapping right there with you.
Yeah. So may that be the first anthem.
Oh,
So simple.
so
And
simple.
as I was singing it now, I was remembering that what I really love about it is that every time you come back into like, ooh, I forgot again, right? It's like the inevitable that I'm going to forget and you're going to
Yeah.
forget again and again and again and again.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
okay because I can remember. I can remember me again.
it's interesting because with the innocence of the maiden, there's also an innocence to the creator, but
Mm.
it's like a more evolved innocence. But there's something about they both allow, there's a forgetting, and then with the creator, there's also a forgetting, but like an allowing to learn and grow through creation, which is like the fast track into wisdom.
You know what is so cool is that I've been reading Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott, which is a book about writing, and it's so
Oh,
great. I can't believe
oh,
I've never read it before. And I
oh, wow.
just read a passage a couple nights ago where she used the phrase sophisticated innocence.
Ooh, yeah.
Sophisticated innocence. And of course this whole book is about writing and creativity.
Oh,
So you're tapping in.
oh,
You're
amazing.
tapping into the well. Yeah.
Wow, wow. Yay.
Ah, so
Oh,
good.
yeah, so good.
Well, in terms of creativity, I
Hmm.
would love to, yeah, dive into a little bit of the kind of numerology of the year.
Yep.
And so 2026 adds up to 10, adds up to 1. And so depending on who you talk to, there are the numerologists who would say this is a year 10, and there are the numerologists who would say this is a year 1. And so I feel like it's both. It's a both and situation. And when we think about the tarot and how that weaves in, it adds even more interest. It adds more fractals. And so first of all, I think the year, a year one, collectively, we're all in this experience together. And so a year one, even though it is, it sounds like a new beginning, which in some sense it is. And yet also I think about in the tarot, all of the aces feel like these cards of potential, right? It's like the full realization of the essence of that suit. But as my friend Angeliska taught me, who has been reading tarot for decades, it's really not until you get to the two that, things start happening, right? Like the two is where you actually take a
Mhm.
step forward and where things start going into motion. And so I find that interesting about the one, and that resonates with me because it feels like there is a freshness to this year's energy. I definitely feel grateful to bid adieu to the Hermit year and the 9 year and last year. Bless it for all that it carried for us. And this one feels great in terms of something fresh, like the one in the Gene Keys, right? The gift is freshness, which is all about creativity. And yet, for me, there's also this liminality in the one, right? The one, I mean, going back to the card, the one, right?
Mhm.
There is this liminality where if you and I aren't separate, if we are one, then how do you tell where you end and where I begin? How do we differentiate? Like, where are the boundaries?
Uh-huh.
And so that's an interesting contemplation that's coming through in terms of that liminal quality of the one. So
Mhm.
I feel like for me, that's feeling nourishing to remember that even though there is certainly a newness and a freshness that, like, yes, I'm here, I'm into it.
Mhm.
And also, clearly, it's not like the tables have totally turned on the world or this country, right? Like there's a
Ooh,
lot happening that is really, really heavy.
yes,
And yet, I love honoring that liminal space.
I love that. And just looking also at the astrology, seeing that we really come into this year with a lot of that liminal kind of confused what is happening and what is going to happen. We're really in the uncertainty and in the mystery. And as the year develops, we become more, I think, into that evolved one, or the sense of that cohesiveness and the cohesion. And so it's,
Mm.
yeah, I feel both of those energies really strong this year
Mm. Oh, I'm,
already.
yeah, really curious to hear, how that's being reflected in the stars.
Hmm.
Yeah, I definitely feel like coming out of the nine, coming out of the hermit,
Yeah.
there's an important also pause and an important honoring of what has been,
Hmm.
even like the good, the bad, and the ugly,
Yeah.
the light and the shadow, or the dense and the light, as some might say, right? To avoid good and bad terms.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's another really important invitation that I would love to make to everyone. If you haven't already, it's not too late. No matter, I mean, you might hear this, if you hear this in June, it's still not too late, right? It's not too late to really honor what was completed, what you began, what seeds were planted, what evolution took place,
Hmm.
what celebrations, what completions happened last year or as we move into this new year. I always feel like that's such an important part of new beginnings. And sometimes we get so excited about what's forward, right? We're so busy looking forward that we don't really honor what has been, and that not only is good for our hearts and good for our sense of productivity and our sense of orientation through space and time, but it gives us this boost of like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, it's something that I weave into my annual planning challenge. It's something that I weave into all of my quarterly planning and my annual planning, this like review assess process.
Mm-hmm.
And this year I actually got really inspired by Austin Kleon, who is an incredible writer, and he wrote this. I got a Substack from him that was 100 things that made my 2025. And I read through it, and it was such a great list because it wasn't, 100 wins, right?
Mm.
It was, there were some big things, and there were some, he had on there like finished a new book and got it off to the publisher. That's a big deal. And he also had like very specific moments that he remembered from the year with his son, or he had like that one weekend when we had our Friday movie and pizza night and we watched the
Uh-huh.
first Star Wars, and we had this moment, and so it was like he really allowed himself to zoom in on these tiny little threads that I think a lot of productivity and kind of review and annual review type things would miss.
Uh,
And I was so inspired that I just sort of dropped everything I was doing and took like several hours and made my own version,
oh,
and it ended up being like 50 things that made my 2025, and it was so fun to write. So
oh,
I also want to cast that seed out for anybody who hasn't done something like that yet.
uh-huh.
Highly recommend.
I love that. I will take you up on that. And I know I could use that because, as you know, 2025 was a very challenging year for me. I feel it in a lot of ways as one of the most challenging, if not the most challenging year of my life. And I think one thing I've really been working with is this a sense of like walking forward with a sense of honoring, as you said, and like dignity around everything that I experienced and felt and went through, all the things that the places I slipped or forgot, all the ways that I forgot, and this kind of revisiting and honoring myself at every step along the way, which it sounds like this man and you have done, of like revisiting and really letting yourself receive the medicine and the gifts and to integrate it so that we can actually move forward from a place of feeling more whole.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
So, one in the tarot is the Magician. And, speaking of liminal things, liminal essences, liminal places, I love the teaching of the Magician. I love this rendering of the Magician in particular. And most magician renderings you will see as something similar to this, where you have this bridge, this human who is being a bridge between spirit and matter. And I actually am working on a Substack article right now that is all about this idea, because actually something else that I do through my annual planning challenge is I always choose a theme, an annual theme for the year. And the theme that came through for me this year for 2026 is Heaven Line.
Ooh.
And I'm writing a whole Substack on it. So by the time we publish this, it'll be out, and I'll put the link in the show notes. And we can talk more about it. But really, I feel like this is one example, right, of the Heaven Line. The Heaven Line is anything like the alignment in your physical body that also aligns your energetic body, your subtle body. It is an alignment, a postural, physical and metaphysical alignment that helps chi flow, right? So that energy's moving, and it's simply moving, and we don't have to force anything. Right? For me, that is the medicine of these times. That is my theme for the year. That is the thing I am placing like at the center of my personal altar, is this invitation to remember that I am a bridge.
Yes.
Like, whether I recognize it or not, I am bridging sky and earth, spirit and matter. And I am bringing the matter up to spirit, and I'm bringing spirit down into the matter. And that I want that to happen in an effortless way. Like, I don't want to have to strive and, hustle and grind and force. Right. This has been a huge teaching that's been coming through. And I know we're bringing up the gene keys a lot, which I definitely bring up in this podcast and in all my work. And gene key 34 is from force to strength to majesty.
Oof, yeah.
And I remember when I was reading it, I sent you this little excerpt because I was like, this is going to be awesome for our conversation. Listen to this, because there's this beautiful quote from Lao Tzu that brings in the energy of the horse. And something else we're going to talk about is that we are moving from the yin wood snake year in Chinese astrology, Chinese zodiac, into the yang fire horse. Right, so let's talk about like Knight of Swords shit, right? Like yang fire horse, y'all. That is some energy right there.
That is some energy.
That is some energy. And so I have this quote here that I would love to read. So this is from Lao Tzu. The very softest thing of all can ride like a galloping horse through the hardest of things, like water penetrating rock. And so the invisible enters in. That is why I know it is wise to act by doing nothing. And how very few understand this. I mean,
Oh,
like,
yes.
mic drop for Lao Tzu.
Wow. I love that I feel the fire and the water. I love that the
Right.
combination of those forces. And it reminds me of right now, there are these ice storms just sweeping across the country. And there's also a solar storm happening to Earth right now, all both at the same time. These our original ancestors of ice and fire are currently having a big conversation with this planet and with this country at this time. And it feels like that horse energy coming
Riding
in,
in.
riding in.
Can you say more about the solar storm?
Yeah, the solar storm is I'm not 100% sure exactly, but it happens fairly frequently. I believe once every like 5 years. And it's when there's bursts from the sun that come out and make their way toward Earth and affect our atmosphere. And so it can be seen. You can really see it in the north with the northern lights. It really affects the northern lights. They are spectacular right now. Yeah, so that is what a solar storm is doing
Hmm.
to our planet. And then we are
Wow.
in this ice storm that is, we're sending a lot of blessings and care and safety to all the people that are being affected, the hundreds of thousands of people that are being impacted by these storms right now across the country. Yeah.
In this moment, I'm thinking of our mutual dear friend, Nijlan.
Yeah.
And Nijlan talks about this beautiful kind of
Yes.
cosmology of grandmother ice and grandfather fire. And
Yes.
this is her interpretation, like her personal cosmology of Eros
Yes.
and of the creation of all life is this moment, this alchemical union, this alchemical marriage of grandmother ice making love with grandfather fire
Yes.
and creating water.
Yes.
Feeling that as we talk about this year of fiery energy, which feels very real.
Yeah.
And as we meet and have this discussion in the winter months and feel that ice very present.
I've been thinking a lot of these ice storms and then of course ice that is, terrorizing people, that is murdering people, kidnapping people, terrorizing people.
Yes.
And then we have the actual element of ice sweeping through that knows no borders, it will storm across everybody regardless of race, place. It will hit the people, the citizens, the police, the federal, everybody. Like nobody gets out from underneath the true ice, which is really here. And I'm like, wow, it feels like a plague. It feels like a message. It feels like, the storm speaking across borders. And, I feel humbled. I think it's a moment of great humility and listening of what true ice is here to tell us.
Yeah. Poignant. Yeah, interesting choice of acronym.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Ah,
Wow, powerful.
yeah.
And we're not
Yeah.
we're not quite in that year of the horse
No,
yet.
we're not. We're not. We are not in that year of the horse yet. We are still in the yin snake, the yin wood snake. And that, for me, that this January has actually been this really beautiful catalyst of deciding, like, I feel like I got this moment of like checking my proverbial watch and was like, oh my goodness, the year of the snake is almost over. Like, I gotta get this off of me. And so I had this like windfall in the last few weeks of actually some major breakthroughs and epiphanies and taking action on things that I had been thinking and probably overthinking and analyzing, but not moving forward on, and not having the clarity. And
Hmm.
it's felt really good to actually catalyze action for myself, not by force, right? But actually by calling it in, by really aligning myself, right? Finding that heaven line of, yeah, I do not want to move into this next year still being unclear about this stuff and still being in existential crisis about this stuff. Like, I want to move in
Hmm.
clear and precise and focused and discerning and ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is a good feeling.
Yeah. Powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a really beautiful segue into the 10, which this year
Oh,
also is, right? So it's a
yeah.
1 with the magician, who is the alchemist, who is the creator, who knows how to use all their tools, right? This is something else I love about the magician, is that they have the wand, the cup, the pentacle, the sword, and they have the infinity sign over their head. Talk about heaven line, right? So part of this too, creativity, is knowing how to, remembering that you've got tools.
Yes.
Oh, my one of my dear sisters, Katerina Satori, has this beautiful affirmation that I love, which is, everything I need is within arm's reach. And I love that still to this day. It's one of my favorite mottos. So that, I feel like, is really this, like, I have all the tools I need. And if I don't literally have the tool, I have the person who has the tool, or I have the person who has the recommendation for the tool. And by the tool, of course, like, that means anything, right? Whatever you need.
Brilliant.
And so, yes to the 1, yes to the magician, that is all happening. And then we also have the 10, which is the wheel of fortune.
Mm.
And there is this beautiful teaching, and I'm struggling to remember where I heard it. It very well might have come out of the Gene Keys, but it's this idea that what is fortune? Fortune is being in the right place at the right time. That's what it is. Fortune is being in the right place at the right time, and choosing to, like, ride the wheel, to put your hands on the wheel, to take the wheel around, and receiving the gifts that come, and then also knowing that nothing is static,
Mm.
right? And this is something that I love about this card. In my understanding of it, there's this being that's sort of riding around the bottom of
Oh.
the wheel. And so one of the teachings here is like, enjoy that moment when you're on top of the wheel, baby, because eventually you're going to get swept under it and you're going to get crushed and it's going to hurt. And then you're going to come up again and you're going to see the sky and you're going to have, like, the rebirth of remembrance that all is well and that you're okay and that you are doing great work.
Uh-huh.
And then you're going to get swept under again. And I feel like this is really leaning into cyclical over linear.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
choosing, even though it's already chosen for us. But I feel like so much of our modern patriarchal capitalist blah 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 narrative is just loves that linear, loves, the Western mind, like, loves to know where we are going and what's going to happen and what is going to happen between A and B. And we're cyclical beings. We travel in spirals and circles, and so this invitation too of this is a year of the Wheel of Fortune, which feels like for me a beautiful invitation to again find that alignment of
Mhm.
how do I get in the right place at the right time, right? And in the Gene Keys there's this whole teaching about the archetype of the rainmaker. And he talks about the rainmaker as this archetype that was invited to villages
Mhm.
because wherever the rainmaker goes, it rains. And people call him and hire him for his services. And he shows up at the village and, like what is actually happening there? And then, come to find out, like, the rainmaker knows that he has no control over the weather. It's simply that he is attuned, his heaven line is attuned with the rain. Where he goes, it rains,
Brilliant.
And so there's that, like, that is fortune.
Yes.
That is fortune, is
Yeah.
knowing what we're attuned to and following
Yes.
that call and being there in the right
Yes.
place at the right time so that what wants to come for us can find us easily.
Oh, I love that. Yes, yes. It and it feels the wheel, I feel trust there. Like trusting the cycles, trusting this year. And I think that that's something that especially last year, it was hard to trust 2025. I think for a lot of people, it was like, what is happening? And this year, I feel like we get to return to the part of the wheel where trust comes back around and synchronicity comes back around and creation comes back around.
Yeah, that's right. I actually started playing around on the guitar, and it needs more work. But I started playing around with "Turn the World Around" by Harry Belafonte, which Ben and I got to sing years ago in the Golden Bridge Community Choir with Maggie Wheeler. Like in
Oh,
our 100+ person
amazing.
choir, we all did "Turn the World Around," and it was so good. And so I would like to also submit this for an anthem for 2016.
Yep.
We come from the fire, go back to the fire, da 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 the fire, turn the world around.
Yes.
We come from the fire, go back to the fire, the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water, go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, go back to the mountain, living on the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Oh, so is life. Ah, so is life. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is life, Betty. So is life. Oh, so is life, Betty. So is life.
Yes.
It needs work,
Amazing.
but all
It's
that to
great.
say, if it's been a while since you heard "Turn the World Around," highly recommend
It
giving it a
has. I
listen,
will.
getting the lyrics. That I feel like that is totally going to be an anthem for me this year.
Ooh, so good. Yes, yes. Wow.
So give us some astrology to watch out for, to keep on our radar as we are moving through this year that, can feel linear, that can feel like a timeline in some dimension. And I was saying to you before that for me, I find it as a lay person in astrology, I find it really helpful to have specific times of the year, specific things to watch out for, to put on my calendar. Like that is something I love using my annual calendar for. Like
Uh-huh.
I mark the new moons, I mark the full moons, and then one of the things I recommended to my students this year is like if you want to mark the eclipse, mark the eclipse. If you want to mark a retrograde so that you can plan around it. Like these are not bad ideas.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, well, even though astrology can be this linear support, we also are dealing with retrogrades and planets moving backward and then forward. And so I really feel that using astrology to mark cycles of time and to use it to understand the different dates and what dates we might really feel the height or the biggest energy of something. But we're also in these big cycles of time. And I'm an archetypal astrologer, so I work with the archetypes of the planets. And the main event, the big thing that we are in for the first part of 2026 is the combination, the conjunction of Saturn and Neptune. Saturn and Neptune are together in the sky. This is considered a world transit, meaning it affects everybody. And it's about a 3-year transit. It started in January of 2024, but we really didn't feel it super strong in 2024. We really started to feel it stronger in 2025, especially by the spring, and then very strong in the summer. And it has been close. They have been close ever since. They are very tight right now in the sky, and they will be exactly conjunct on February 20th. So this feels like a very powerful, important date.
Yeah,
And
which
it's
is right
interesting.
after the Lunar New Year, which is on February 17th.
And because Chinese astrology follows a lunar calendar, it's on a new moon. The Chinese New Year is on a new moon, and it also happens to be an eclipse. So solar
Hmm.
eclipses happen on new moons and lunar eclipses happen on full moons. And so that is also that whole time, this whole stretch leading up to into February, that whole window into early March, because eclipses always come in pairs, meaning that if there's a solar eclipse, it will in 2 weeks later be followed by a lunar, or if the first one is a lunar, 2 weeks later it will be followed by a solar. So we have a solar eclipse on the 17th. We have a lunar eclipse on March 3rd. I think in some places it's March 2nd. An eclipse portal or season is a time with a lot that gets brought up. It's a time of acceleration and intensity of what is hidden being revealed. And in that time, we have this exact conjunction or coming together of Saturn and Neptune. So I want to just talk a little bit about Saturn and Neptune.
Yes, tell us about that. Because for me, in my little knowing,
Yeah.
what I remember, this is where I need your puppets. What I know
Yes.
of Saturn is intense, that
Yeah.
Saturn is an intense energy,
Yep.
and that Neptune, yeah, I mean, I think about like under the ocean, right? The like Roman
Totally.
god of Neptune, of like the watery underworld, the subconscious,
Yep.
like what is happening under the surface.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, you definitely have a good idea of these archetypes. Saturn is challenging, is known to be quite challenging. Saturn is the planet of form, of reality. And I do this because we are coming into, as we've already talked about, a wider understanding of what is truly real. And a lot of what is real is the unseen, actually. But Saturn is very much the reality of what is seen, what we know. Saturn is practical. Saturn has to do with rules and laws and order. It has to do with systems and governance. Saturn is also limitation, loss, death. It's a different kind of death than Pluto. but it's the reality of the limitations of time that we have. And therefore, Saturn can feel like constraint or restriction or fear. And Saturn is also the planet of structures, of refinement, of maturation. Neptune is this underwater, nebulous, kind of lost at sea energy. It has to do with disillusionment and all that is murky and hidden and unknown. And Neptune is also the subconscious, its dreams, its visions, its mystery, its magic, its soul, its spirit. So, for a lot of astrologers, the combination of Saturn and Neptune is felt as one of the scariest or most like feared combinations because as my astrologer, as the lineage I come from is the lineage of Rick Tarnas, and he calls this the transit of despair.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. It has to do with despair, hopelessness, a deep existential confusion, grief, loss. This feeling of like, what? Why? Like, why is this happening? So there's a meaninglessness that comes with Saturn Neptune. There's a hopelessness that comes with Saturn Neptune, and therefore despair, discouragement, heaviness, depression. We see an increase of mental illness, of anxiety, of a soul lostness. And it is the world transit that has to do with the spectrum of despair to hope. We cannot have despair without hope. And therefore, Saturn Neptune brings us into hope. And even though the muscles feel atrophied under Saturn Neptune, we practice hope. We practice faith. We practice believing in something greater, holding this whole thing. And so together they have the ability, the potential to bring soul back into us and make these dreams real. And that's the piece about Saturn Neptune, is that it's both despair and it's also the spiritual maturation that we are all collectively going through, and what we need to put in place, the structures, that's the Saturn, that we need to create anew in order to bring the dreams through. So Saturn makes the dreams real. And that is what we are really being asked to do for the last part of this transit. They will be exact on February 20th. And this is a very powerful combination of Saturn and Neptune. Saturn and Neptune they come together once every 36, 37 years, but it's been a very long time since they've been in Aries, which is where they are meeting up, and they are meeting at the 0 degree of Aries. This reminds me of the 1. It reminds me of the 10. It is the 1st degree of Aries, meaning it is the 1st degree of the zodiac. There are some astrologers that study this 1 degree. And Saturn and Neptune have been dancing across this end of Pisces, beginning of Aries axis for a really long time. And this is the very end of the zodiac and the very beginning of the zodiac. And they will meet at the very beginning degree of the entire zodiac, of all 360 degrees. The last time this happened, we don't know.
Wow.
Astrologers have been trying to look back, and it's like over 6,000 years ago, over 8,000 years ago. The ephemerises don't go back that far. So this is an conception point. And that's where we have this retelling of story. That is really what I feel like the Saturn Neptune is here to bring us, is what stories are we telling ourselves? What parts of soul are we bringing back? And how do we move this into the kinds of experiences and lives that we want to be living as humans and as humanity moving forward, a humanity that includes all of it, that includes all the beings, all the sentience, all the animals, all the spirits that this planet and that this universe is here to offer us. And it means retelling some of the older stories about the planets, and really inviting them to be our benevolent guides, our teachers, the bringers of love, of faith, and that will help drive us and guide us forward into the humans that we are becoming, the creators that we are becoming. So
Wow.
that is a little bit about the Saturn Neptune.
That is
And
very potent. So, I mean, is there a, I mean, that feels like a lot. There's a lot there. So again, probably my Western mind that wants something, like
like a
a
peace
gem,
sign.
a gem. Yeah, like a little nugget of like, is there something, this like, yeah, what do I need to, what can I put on my calendar for that day, for that phase? Is there like what I heard in the end there was the releasing of stories, noticing how we tell our stories. And I'm curious, is there a crystalline facet that you might offer as like during this time, keep this in mind?
I would keep in mind that the despair and the grief is in fact purposeful, and that to orient toward faith and to practice bringing our dreams into reality, and to ask ourselves, what do I need to do to bring these dreams into reality? That feels like good questions to ask now, and especially on that day. And that
Yeah.
transit will continue through the end of the year, but by the summer, it will be a little bit less charged. And I think we will all breathe a little bit deeper come summer, especially into the rest of the year, because we will really be able to feel another transit that is a lot more, it invites this creator energy a little bit more, and that is a trine, a 120-degree angle between Pluto and Uranus. And this really feels like a transit that has to do with the power of the people, the power returning to the people, and the flow of what that can be for our communities and for our nations and for our earth. And that is really what we're going to really feel toward the end of the year. And as I looked at the astrology for this year, I just felt like we are coming in really not knowing what is going to happen. And by the end of the year, we are going to really have a strong sense of what is happening, what to do, what we need to focus on. There will be clarity of what what is here for us to do. And I think that that is part of why I feel this year so alchemical, in that we really are going from such a place of uncertainty and these feelings of loss to the clarity of of action, collective action that is very evolutionary, very transformative, and that's really what we're going to feel the second half of the year, especially.
I love what you had said about practice hope. That feels really powerful.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot that we could say about hope, right? In all of its glory, in all of its necessity, and also in all of its illusion, in
Uh-huh.
all of its fantasy.
Yes.
So practice, what does it actually mean to
Hmm.
practice hope?
Yeah.
Maybe you have a song that might anchor us in some of these contemplations
I
before
do
we
have a
keep
song.
going.
I do have a song. I know we're going. Can you hear that drum? Okay, great. This is a song by Ollie Blakely, who's just such an exquisite and potent leader of song and grief and medicine for these times. And she has an album called Anthems for the Apocalypse, and I would highly recommend purchasing it from Bandcamp and supporting her. And this is one of her songs from that album. It's called Wisdom in Collapse. Don't know what's coming. Don't know what's next. One thing I do know, there's wisdom in collapse. Don't know what's coming. Don't know what's next. One thing I do know, there's wisdom in collapse. The flowers are blossoming in its ruins. The rivers are rushing wild and free. The soil is humming oh so softly. It's a quiet symphony. Ooh, ooh, don't know what's coming. Don't know what's next. One thing I do know, there is wisdom in collapse. Don't know what's coming. Don't know what's next. One thing I do know, there is wisdom in collapse. The flowers are blossoming in its ruins. The rivers are rushing wild and free. The soil is humming oh so softly. It's a quiet symphony.
Indeed. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Ale, for providing so many anthems for these times. Yeah, There
Yeah.
is wisdom in collapse. I
Yeah.
actually feel like that has been one of the ways that maybe surprisingly last year I started practicing hope was learning about collapse. And
Huh.
there are some really amazing writers and artists out there right now, visionaries who are exploring this concept of collapse really deeply and really leaning in and finding that, as you were saying, right there, of course there is despair and grief, and also there is this relief
Yeah.
and this surrender of inevitability, and
Yeah.
also what needs to happen in those times. And so many of the teachings that come through that query,
Mm.
what I'm hearing in myself and also reflected out in the world by others, is more analog,
Hmm.
more like making with your hands,
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
human to human, in person, in real life, with your
Yep.
neighbors, community building,
Yes.
right? More slowing down,
Hmm.
more time off screens,
Yep.
right? Like the collapse really, there's so many pieces of that come back to those pieces,
Yeah. Yeah.
which actually is, all of that feels so good on my nervous
Uh-huh.
system.
Yeah. More humaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else that, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more, um, astrologically speaking. Is there anything else that feels, like it would be really helpful for people to know and keep in their pocket as they move through this year of 2026?
There are so many like Mercury retrogrades and little things that happen along the way. And the kind of astrologer I am, I really look at these bigger transits, and I think the that Saturn Neptune is gonna what I what
Dominate.
it's gonna dominate, and it's also gives us such an opportunity um to bring spirit into all of our systems, to bring the divine into our lives and center it inextricably in ourselves, in our families, in our communities. And that is something that we really have the opportunity to do in ever more refined and mature ways. And that feels like it'll really help this Pluto Uranus trine that's going to really bring us into the community and into the power of the people and into all of the ways that that freedom will evolve us. It's going to really help those visions become enlivening and actualized in the revolutionary ways that they need to be. And I think that that's a pretty powerful year for us. We have two more eclipses in August, on August 12th and the 27th. That will also be a very potent time. Um, but this February, March eclipse portal is a big one.
Mm.
And yeah, good to ground, resource, be with people as much as possible during that time. And I think I would be very surprised if our president is still our president in by the end of this year.
Wow. Whew. Well, that also, when you were talking about Aries,
Yeah.
right? One of the other cards I have sitting here is the sun,
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
in the tarot, the sun is number 19.
Mm.
So, again, coming back to numerology, one of the cool things about working with tarot, and I'm not a tarot expert, I feel like I'm very much a beginner who is passionate and really curious. And clearly, this whole show, Sage and the Song, is about archetypes. And so much of my work in my life, it's like that's how things make sense to me. So in the tarot, there's a lot of numerology that stacks. So whenever you have the one, for example, with the magician, you also can look at the 10 and there's something happening there. And you can also look at the sun because it's number 19 and 1 and 9 makes 10 and 1 and 0 make 1, right? So and we're also coming out last year was the card previous to this, which was the moon. And so in tarot, I don't have the moon card here, but if you looked at the moon, it's, yeah, I mean, it's the shadowed aspect, right?
Mm.
And it's this coming into the light, and the sun card is such an amazing card in tarot. You have this child, like there's the horse again riding in on this white horse with all these rays of the sun just beaming down, and they're like in full exaltation. And this isn't necessarily to say, right, that 2026, like we're all going to be doing this all year long. That's clearly not what's happening. And yet, coming out of, from the moon into the sun, there is this quality of what was revealed is now on full display,
Truly.
right? Like full display, spotlight being shown.
Yep.
Don't even try and hide it. And so certainly I feel like that is happening
Yep.
politically. I feel like that there
Yeah.
is happening on a collective level, is happening on a national level, is happening on a global level. And also there's this invitation of how is that happening for us on a personal level this year? And
Mhm.
what have I been shrouding? What have I been, kind of holding away? What have I been hiding? And how can I illuminate those aspects of myself? What are
Mm.
the qualities of myself? What are the projects? What are the relationships? Like I think there's a lot on the spectrum of energetic all the way to very pragmatic of what are the tangible and intangible things that we want to bring into the light this
Mm.
year and
Mhm.
to actually have witnessed and to see the light of day. And when you talk about community, I feel that comes through for me too, right?
Yeah.
Of us all being children of the sun, right?
Yeah.
And that this is one of the forces, the really primal force that unites us all, that keeps us alive.
Mm.
And what are we going to choose to do with that time in the light together?
Yes. Yes. I love that there's literally a fire horse on that card.
I don't, there is. That's right. That's right. Yeah, it's interesting. This white horse shows up many times in the tarot
Oh,
deck. And
yeah. Right.
yeah, it shows up in the death card. It shows up,
Yep.
yeah, in many different cards. And yeah, I mean the horses. So maybe we can talk about the horse for a moment. And there was a song that we wanted to come through too with what you were sharing. So the knights in the tarot, they're all riding horses. And the knights, from my understanding, the knights are all about action.
Mm.
And of course the four suits all have different realms that they govern,
Right.
right? So this is the Knight of Wands, and the wands are governed by the element of fire and is all about spirit, our relationship with great spirit, with God, with source, with the universe, whatever, yes, creator, however you know, speak that or feel that for yourself. And there's also a piece in the wands about work, but it's not the same as pentacles, which is like, I think of it as chop wood, carry water, your money, right? The actual money that you make from your work. So the fire aspect of work, the wands aspect of work for me is more about mission, purpose, like the spark of enthusiasm, the
Creation.
right, it's like the alchemical work of my life versus vocation.
Uh-huh.
And if
Yeah.
certainly there's overlap there, right? I love that word actually, vocation, because it reminds us that is like the calling, literally. The vocation is what you're called to do,
Mm.
which isn't it's not you call, right? It's like what is calling you.
Right.
And so the Knight of Wands is yeah, this horse is moving. This horse is
Uh-huh.
not all the knights are moving. Some of them are actually perhaps moving very slowly, perhaps standing still, perhaps in contemplation, right? The Knight of Wands is different from the Knight of Swords, which I think of as just like, fuck yeah, let's go. And so the Knight of Wands, there's this, right, this fiery energy. But what I've been feeling as I think about the fire horse, which is such an interesting combination, is you have the steadiness, the groundedness, the centeredness of the horse,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is one of the most powerful beings on this planet.
Yeah.
We don't call it horsepower for nothing. And majestic, right? I feel like there's no wonder that it mentioned the horse in that quote from 34, right? They are such majestic, beautiful, strong, powerful creatures, and grounded and steady, and really embody perseverance, persistence, steadfastness,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the fortification to keep going,
Mm.
the longevity of having a way to travel or having work to do. And I feel like there's this, I keep coming back to the word steadiness, and then you add the fire, right? So it's almost like this passion that ignites that, and this meeting of that, which I think is such a beautiful energy, and also one to watch out for, because the horse could the horse can, freak out, the horse can like buck you off, the horse can take off, and you might not be ready for that. You might not know how to handle that,
Right.
right? So how we navigate that dance of,
Yeah.
harnessing the power,
Mm-hmm.
calling forth the steadiness, and honing our ability to tap into our passion without letting it, burn us to the ground.
Yeah. And there's something in there about intuition as well. I know horses are can be healers. Like the horse listens to its rider when there is that trust and that connection between the two. And I haven't ridden many horses, but when they become one, when the rider uses the horse or is with the horse, is in communion with the horse, and the horse is serving, there's like something of service between the two. And then there's also the free horse that has no rider, that just is, this stunning, majestic being. And there's something about intuition and that listening between the two.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Which feels like it comes back to that place of heaven line. Like, what is guiding you? Because if it's your mind, you're probably going to get yourself in trouble. And if it's my ego, that's going to get me in trouble. And if it's my people pleasing, that's going to get me in trouble. And
Yep.
if it's my wanting to fit in or conform, that's going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a song that I would love to share that is one that I learned years ago, and I haven't thought of it in years. And as I was thinking about this conversation, all that dropped in was the title, and I couldn't remember. It's like, how does that go? All I remembered was the title, which is I Am Determined. I was like, I remember that I used to really love that song. And I feel like it is a song, it is an advocacy song, it is a march, it is a like human rights song. And I could not remember it. And so I wrote to my dear friend Lisa Littlebird, and I was like, what is that song? I Am Determined. Like, can you hum it into, I'm sure I would remember it if I just heard the first, few notes. And then I woke up the next morning and there it was.
Oh,
And so I feel like it totally came in. And so then I did a little research. And so this song was, if you look for it online, you will find many versions of it as I am determined to walk with Jesus. It is an African heritage gospel song. It has been utilized in many churches for that end, and was also a song of the civil rights movement, and was arranged by Dr. Issei Barnwell of Sweet Honey in the Rock, who has given us so many incredible songs. And so, of course, I'm not doing, her arrangements are amazing. And you can actually find, if you go on YouTube and look, I'm determined to walk in freedom, Issei Barnwell, you'll find some choirs singing her arrangement, and it is spectacular. And so I would love to offer just a simple, maybe one or two rounds of this song as another anthem for our year. Definitely feel the fire in this song. I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. Through all trials, tribulations, persecutions, I am determined. I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. Through all trials, tribulations, persecutions, I am determined. I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. I am determined to walk in freedom. Yes, I am. May it be so.
May it be
And
so.
one of the reasons that that has felt really good for me is, of course, feeling this country and this world and holding that prayer for us and remembering, singing. I know you were talking about an apartheid song, right? And when we sing these songs, we've both been blessed to have teachers, right, who have shared these songs with us. And one of the beautiful teachings that I've gotten from Melanie Demore, who is one of my incredible song carrying allies and living ancestors of this work, is that it's singing these songs. Clearly, I am not of African heritage, and the gospel tradition is not my bloodline tradition, and I didn't grow up in that tradition in any shape or form. And yet, singing that song in a respectful way, in a reciprocal way, in a way of really honoring the roots of it, it's so easy for me to tap in to the fortitude necessary and that prayer through all trials, tribulations, persecutions. I am determined, and what it means to be determined to walk in freedom as a people. Like
Yeah.
there's a whole layer of, as a people,
Hmm.
to feel that resolve.
Mm.
And then there's another layer of to walk in freedom personally, and the trials and the tribulations and the persecutions and the oppressions and the illusions that all happen here in this very personal, egoic structure of an ecosystem that is me, that is Britta, right? And I feel that determination equally. And that feels really good to honor both of those layers and to hold that prayer.
Yeah, totally. So beautiful. Such a powerful freedom song and courage song. And I felt that lightning rod. What do we even
Heaven
call it?
line.
The heaven line so
Yeah.
much in that song. Really powerful anthem. Yeah.
You want to share your courage song?
Sure, sure. So this one also is it was actually I was taught it as a an anti-apartheid South African song of which the origin is unknown. And then I recently learned that it was actually written by a white Australian man for a man imprisoned in South Africa, a black South African man. And and the story is that it was sung by the inmates on death row as one of the men was being marched to his death, and the other inmates sang it to him. And it's a short song and a zipper song, and I feel like it is just I've been feeling it so much, and I'm about to go to South Africa. I will be going to South Africa in about 2.5 weeks to be there for 3 weeks on a trip for birth workers to study with South African midwives and indigenous practices. So it's been very present for me because of that as well.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yes, I'm
By
very
the way.
excited.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And what a beautiful moment to revive those songs in yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
Sing
exactly.
the songs of those people
Yeah.
and in honoring those people.
Yes, yes. So the song is very short and it goes like this. Courage, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. And if you're listening, it's courage, and then you can repeat courage, my friend, and then together. You do not walk alone. We will walk with you, and then together, and sing your spirit home. Freedom, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Dignity, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Minneapolis, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Iran, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Palestine, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Vision, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home. Courage, my friend, you do not walk alone. We will walk with you and sing your spirit home.
Thank you. Thank you for calling in the friends, the relatives. Yeah, we do this together.
Yeah. It'll have to be us, it'll have to be us. It'll have to be us. It'll have to be us. Little excerpt from another Ale Blakely song, Last Night I Dreamed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What a year.
Yeah. There's one more song I'd love to share. That's
Please.
okay.
Yes.
I this gosh, I mean, I should say that there's like five more songs that I'd love to share, but honoring that yeah, time. I don't know. This might have to just be cut into 2 different episodes. We'll see how this goes. um, so, my one of my friends, Leela Strong, wrote this song, and she calls it The Unfolding. And the first time I heard it, I was immediately really taken with it and just started learning it. And it's feeling like such a balm, thinking about the Wheel of Fortune. Being willing to not know what's next.
gorgeous.
I feel like that really sums
Oh,
it up.
I agree.
So, in so many ways.
Yeah. Yep.
I love that line so much. It's so simple, but you
Oh,
don't
so
get
cool.
to know. You don't get to know. You
But
don't
it will hold you.
know,
You don't get to
but
know
it
how
will
it'll hold
hold
you,
you.
but it will
Yeah.
hold you.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Hmm. May we remember that we will
Yes.
be held,
Yes.
even though we don't know what the hell is going on
Don't know.
or what is around the corner.
But there's wisdom in collapse.
There is wisdom in collapse, and we get
Yeah.
to practice hope
Yeah, exactly.
and find that alignment, whatever heaven line is for you,
Hmm.
that alignment so that we don't have to work as hard, we don't have to over effort, we don't have to force, right? And one of the things I love about that gene key is that he talks a lot about athletes, and specifically in there that journey from force to strength to majesty,
Mm.
like
Oh,
Olympian athletes.
wow.
And so when we hold that, it's not that there's a lack of exertion, right? Like
Hmm.
clearly there is effort and there is work involved. So it's not that. It's not, I get to sit here and do nothing, right? But it's also that paradox of Lao Tzu, right? That to act by doing nothing. That is why I know it is wise to act by doing nothing. And so, how do we hold that paradox of
Yeah.
channeling true strength through our body,
Mhm.
through our physical body, our metaphysical body? It's it doesn't come from here, right? It doesn't come from us. It comes up from the earth. It comes,
Through us.
I was going to say, down from the sky, yes. And also, one of the things I was geeking out about in my Substack article to come soon is that it comes from every direction and every dimension,
Huh.
that we don't receive wisdom from above,
Mm-hmm.
right? That feels like a dogmatic piece,
Hmm.
that is one direction that it comes from, but that to be truly aligned in such a way in our spine, in our body, in our aura, that allows chi, life force, prana, kausai to move through us, then from that place, the force isn't necessary,
Right.
right? Because we are being driven,
Mm.
right? Like we are moving, something greater is moving through us, and we get to be the hollow bamboo, be the
Oof.
channel.
I just have this image of a horse just like galloping. And
Yeah,
it's majestic. It is
yeah,
majestic, effortless, and
yeah.
so strong. So strong.
And so free,
So free.
right? Freedom. I feel
Yeah.
like freedom is
Yeah.
one of the words that comes to mind.
Yes.
This is also bringing an invitation that I'm feeling this year for myself. I have this really beautiful book, actually. I think it's called Spirit Horses. That's a photography book.
Ooh,
And
wow.
I'm wondering about this invitation of how we might bring
Mhm.
horse medicine into our year. Maybe it's a piece of art, maybe there's a card, maybe there's a book, maybe there's time with horses. Best of all, perhaps time with these incredible beings. Something to continually remind us that we are being held, and there is a way.
Yes. I had a client once who, during her birth, she wanted me and her wife to leave the room and be at the other end of the house. And she took out a picture of a horse and she labored in front of that horse for like 4 hours. And I don't even think it was a
Wow.
horse she knew. I think it was from a magazine, and that was what she needed to meditate on. It wasn't a plan she had to do that, and that was what she needed to give her that, the focus, the energy, the stamina of just her and the horse.
Wow. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So good.
So good.
Wow. Thank you so much,
Thank
Verana.
you so much. What a beautiful conversation. I feel inspired. I feel lit up. I feel grateful. I feel supported.
Likewise.
I feel supported by these systems and these
Mm,
maps and the math and the magic and all of it. I just feel
yes,
very
the math
grateful.
and the magic. Yes. Well,
And the
I'm so
music.
glad. And the music. Yes. And I love alliteration
Yeah.
anytime. I'm so glad you said that because I remember when we were talking about what to call this, it was this idea of like what was coming through for me is I am supported. I am divinely supported.
Yeah.
I am divinely supported.
Yep.
So I feel like that the fact that you're feeling that and I'm feeling that, I it is my prayer and my hope
Mm.
that all who listen to this conversation feel divinely supported
Yeah.
from every angle, from every dimension, from every realm, from within, from without, from above, from below, from the past, from the future, from the present. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
I
Yes.
love you. So
I
good
love
to be
you
with
so
you.
much. Same. All right.